right. Well, let's. Are we moving on to the next one?
Yeah, man. Let's switch gears. Let's
mute
keep.
this.
Yeah. Well, I might as well keep it on, man. We're gonna demo it with.
Oh yeah.
vintage
Well,
bass
that's
anyway,
right. We're going right into. I don't know if everyone can see it.
Yeah, it's going to be Bergantino. It's
Heyo.
a company that's near and dear to us. Jim and Holly Bergantino are the sweetest people on the planet.
Yes, they are.
Jim designs amazing gear, and the beauty of it, there's a few new additions. He's always like pushing the envelope. He's always fine-tuning things. He'll tell you, he's got such a really great ear and a really great understanding of the audio world, and so much so that he actually just recently came out with some vintage-inspired cabs. They've always been more on the modern side of things, but like the modern and like cutting-edge technology would still exist within all of this stuff. But it's he was really thinking about the players who swear by their flip top and they won't play anything else, right. And then enter some of the problems that come with those tube amps and everything. So I'm going to dive right in to the Forte. This is the Forte D head that we're going to be playing throughout the broadcast. What makes this especially awesome is that it's essentially just a very musical, open, transparent head. Yeah. And it's got some features on there that, first of all, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I'm not sure if we're on the tighter angle there. I'll get my big hand out of the way. But it's a very, very simple format on the front end. It's a beautiful plug and play, especially how he's got the EQ set and notched. It sounds awesome just straight out of the box.
Yeah, I mean, you heard it just through the backbeat while we were demoing the backbeat that, it sounds great. Everything's kind of set at 12 o'clock.
You had the tone rolled down on the bass too, which is that, yeah. And it's important to recognize that we had the drive turned down all the way.
This one here.
And we'll dive into what, special sauce goes with that. But, with this head, one of the first things that you would want to do is to just make sure you set your input gain right down here to a point where it's not constantly flashing. You just want to tickle the light a little bit. So see how it's not flashing? I can even come up a little bit, really dig into it. There we go. And then we'll just dial it back a little bit and make sure that's a really good level so you can get everything nice and balanced. So with the plug and play, with it sounding great clean out of the box, one of the things that some consultants that Jim has been working with over the years, they say we'd love to get we'd love to get a really great B15 or older flip top classic tube amp sound, but the caveat with those is that you could get you get this amazing sound when it breaks up just right. But as you turn the volume up on those things, usually you sacrifice a lot of low end. It kind of gets squashed and lost in the mix. And the great thing about those old tube amps that Jim found, and a lot of people understand, is that there's all this really beautiful harmonic content. And I swear to God, and I just told Jim and Holly this today, this thing fucking nails it, number one. Number two, I think it's probably the best. I think it's my favorite plug and play head.
Right, straightforward.
Right now, at least.
Easy.
Maybe it's because we're just starting to play it. So
Mark loves this drive now.
I do.
He just can't get enough of that drive.
I can't. Well, let's dive into that. So basically, the cool thing about the drive is that it emulates the old tube amps. It has the clipping clips some of the frequencies to maintain a really good balanced sound out of it without sacrificing the lows. And additionally, one thing that you'll find when you turn up drive a lot of the times, when you crank it up, the volume just kind of spikes. And so what he's done is he sort of set everything to line level, so it's you can turn the master volume all the way up, and the gain and the drive all the way down, and then turn it up, and the volume's really never changing. It's just the amount of harmonic content that's passing through.
That's huge.
So this is with it turned off. Okay. He's gonna play. I'm gonna start turning it up a little bit. You can really hear that sort of throwback, sort of fuzziness. And see how I'm turning up the drive, and the volume's not changing. Oh, it's so dirty. Yeah. Woo! That's the sound, man. So notice that that there wasn't a ton of saturation, you're not going to get that out of this
Right.
head. This is really designed for like plug and play situations, and if you want more saturation, throw the many amazing pedals.
Which we will be demoing shortly.
Yeah, there's a ton of them.
What I noticed with that, I mean, obviously it's like super clean right now, right? And then you're getting that breakup, but it still felt very dynamic. So as you're digging in, it starts to expand a little bit more, and as you lay back a little bit, it gets it cleans up a bit. So it's still kind of emulating that tube thing you would get, where when you're pushing those tubes real hard, you get that breakup. So I think that's really key to it, where it's not.
Yeah.
It sounds really organic and really natural sounding.
Yeah, but part of that is also due to, I mean, of course, the impulse and DSP that he's got going in here, but also it has a compressor that's fixed. 50% of the signal is going to be compressed, and then 50% is not compressed. It's just giving you that thickness.
Yeah.
That girth.
It's got a lot of girth.
Yeah, it does have a lot of girth. Yeah.
And then the standard, it's got 2 speak-on outputs out the back. It's got an auxiliary input in the front, DI, post and pre, all the standard stuff you would find on similar heads and other heads you're familiar with and what are traditionally found on Bergantino heads. So do we want to move on to these cabs here?
Sure.
Or do you want to play with some more EQ? What are you feeling, Mark?
I kind of like it where it is, man. I don't want to fuck with it. I think it's great. It's also mute switch, really important. When you're turning the amp on and off, mute it first and then turn it off.
Yeah, you might get an audible pop if you don't.
Yeah, it's just how those power sections work. I'm actually, also, another good thing to point out is that the headphone out, you don't need a load box. You don't need a speaker box. You can actually use this as a headphone amplifier.
You don't have to have a speaker plugged into it.
Yeah, and it weighs nothing. It's got a great profile.
Yeah,
It fits in a lot of gig bags, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, coupled with the cabinets, you can fit this in your gig bag, carry this in one hand, and you're ready to gig.
Yeah.
That's my thing. The days of hauling around 810 refrigerators are long gone for me. And I'm not even that old, but
Yeah.
I'm not carrying that stuff up and downstairs anymore.
No.
And especially with these new cabs that are kind of setting the standard now. What I like, Mark said it at the top of this, that both him and I are very good, are very strong proponents of Bergantino gear. If you bought an HD Bergantino or a CN cabinet, 5+ years ago, I feel like there's a 50% chance it came through me, because I sold a massive amount of those cabinets through when I was at Bass Club Chicago. And I personally have a CN cabinet. I really love it. I like kind of a little more modern, like high clarity in my tone in a lot of cases, but hanging around Mark, you get a lot of that like vintage growl stuff like that. So that's starting to tickle my fancy a little bit here.
Oh, yeah.
So these cabinets here, brand new from Bergantino, I will say I think they are the best looking Bergantino cabinets so far. Traditionally, you see a lot of the Berg stuff with the black metal grate fronts on them. This is the first cloth covered Bergantino cabinet. These are the NXV series cabinets. Mark and I were just having a discussion earlier today about using, like, if you got a business or a website or something, and instead of using like an S at the end of the words, like what would be
Phil's Coffee.
Phil's Coffees, PHILS, right? Should be, because Mark has a big pet peeve about people who would maybe put a Z at the end of.
Like Phil's Coffee.
Like Phil's Coffee, right?
I don't trust it.
So Mark,
I'm sure it's delicious. I don't doubt that. But as soon as you got a Z in the name where an S should be, I'm fucking out.
He's out.
Nope,
or like
sorry.
double consonants in a row that don't really need to be there, stuff like that. So Mark, with the NXV series, what do you think that X stands for?
It stands
Extra?
for
No?
Extreme.
It is extreme.
Son of a bitch, Jim!
So NXV is Neo Extreme Vintage.
You know what? I'm going to give him a pass because he builds some of the finest gear out there.
Spectacular stuff, for sure. So what I think Jim was trying to accomplish, at least to my ears, is definitely trying to get that cross between lightweight portability, Neo speaker that you get, but also getting that like ceramic feel out of it, so you get that low end. Because a lot of the Neo stuff, has a lot of high end clarity, a lot of sparkle in it, but sometimes you lose a little bit of that booty, especially when you're like digging in.
Right.
I feel like at those higher volumes, you start to dig in, you start to lose some of that low end, and I don't know, maybe it seems like a little less responsive when you start really pushing a Neo speaker.
Your average Neo speaker.
Your average Neo speaker,
or like
right?
older Neo speakers, would you
Right.
say?
So then I would say, I think Jim was trying to get that vintage vibe, obviously from the look. This is throwback, classic vibe look of the cabinets, and I think he's really struck that chord between getting that vintage tone out of a really lightweight portable cabinet. I think the 112s weigh 29 pounds. We got one down here, and then the 210. This is a 210, and it weighs in at 35 pounds. So, 30 pounds plus, whatever the head is, probably 6 to 8 pounds, and your base, like I said, you're walking in one trip, and then you got to help your key player load in all his stuff.
No, you don't. Nope. That's what you get for buying like $6,000 synthesizers.
No,
No,
the synthesizers aren't the bad part. It's the Rhodes with the 412 or 410 speaker cabinets.
You know what though? They sound so good.
Go get a Nord.
I'll help a keyboard player only if they have a Rhodes. Only.
When I see them
Going
stairs,
right
I'm like, no, thank you. So yeah, these great cabinets. The 112 is rated at 400 watts at 8 ohms, 500 watts at 8 ohms on the 210. Really, I don't know what else to say about them other than like playing through them. Just you let your ear do the talking.
Speaking of playing, I want to play this guy.
Oh, he wants to play.
Let me help you get this off there.
Help me, Mark.
Help me.
The cabinets are made of Italian poplar wood. I hear the Italians have the best poplar wood. So,
don't tell that to the French. Do they even have poplar in France?
I don't know. I've never been over in Europe, so I can't really tell you. Yeah, poplar wood, got some Baltic wood in there. I think for the ports, he's using the Baltic, poplar and Baltic birch on the
Baltic
ports.
birch.
So, yeah.
Being super careful with this.
What's that? The back?
Normally at a show, I'm just like throw it on.
Mark, it's seen some years and some love. I
it's
really
seen
like
some
this,
shit.
This cable. What is this cable?
It's the AccuSound.
Oh, that's right. The
AccuSound
AccuSound. We're giving one of those
BX2.
away.
We're giving it away.
All right. So, Mark, so right now we got it mic'd up with some 421 Sennheisers on both the 12 and the 210. Oh, a huge thing that I haven't mentioned. These do not have any tweeters in them. So these are essentially very similar to the NXT cabinets, but without tweeters. I think that's like one of the main features I'm forgetting to mention here.
Yeah.
So no tweeters in these cabinets, but like I said, with that Neo, with the speaker designed by Jim, I think you're not going to miss that. Unless maybe you're like a gospel player who wants that super crisp, poppy, high end. I think for your rock, blues, R&B guys, even your metal guys, you're going to love this cabinet.
Me.
So let's see what we got here.
Make sure I'm all plugged in the back there on my back beat.
Your back is beating. I think you're good.
Uh-oh.
Are you missing something?
I'm missing something. Maybe it's my bass. Maybe this is old bass.
It's not that we need to turn it on, the mute, because you don't need that. Oh, wait, it just turned blue.
Huh. Well, maybe I just unplugged it by accident. Oh, well. Let's go direct. I unplugged it, I think.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
There we go. Oh, that's what Daddy likes. I'm going to stand up. Sorry. Stand up and shout.
I couldn't stand up. The bass I was like Mike Dirnt from Green Day playing that thing. All right, here we go. I'm going to turn this drive all the way down, Mark. Sorry to disappoint.
Let's turn this down.
And I'm just going to turn some knobs here or there, kind of hear what you got, plus or minus 10 dB on all your frequency adjustments. Sounds great. Now, if you're feeling like you're missing a little bit of that high frequency that you get out of those tweeters, hitting this bright switch on the head, I think is really going to bring that out. And also Mark has the tone rolled off, but you can see it brightens up those high frequencies. You're getting close to what you would get out of like the NXT cabinet, right? So now I'm going to start turning Mark's favorite knob, the drive knob.
Dude,
Nice.
yes. Oh man, like that's like the Zappa. Like,
Well, let's. I'm gonna just unplug the 112 right now, so we could just hear the 210.
Yeah.
Then let's switch to the 112, and then kind of get an idea of what each one sounds like independently.
let's mute it real quick.
Mute it.
Mute it.
All right. I'm gonna unplug the 112. So this is just. Move that out of the way. This is just the 210 cabinet. Now remember, it's off the ground. We're going to get a little bit of low end loss from doing that, but we're at noon on everything here. Sounding nice, Marcus.
Yeah, man.
Scooping them mids a little bit, pretty
Yeah.
regular thing that you do.
There it is.
Got that drive all the way up. 210 sounds great. So now, I'm going to want you to keep playing that same riff. And I'm going to switch to the 112 so you can get like an honest representation. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Beat is getting stronger.
Oh no. Oh, we just went off the rails.
Getting longer too. I can't do it.
Then turn that drive off, and all of a sudden, there's no overdrive there. You're not
It's just low and
just
woolly.
super clean.
I'm gonna turn the tone up a little bit on this.
There, I mean,
Can you actually turn the drive back up?
of course,
Of
it's been like
course.
30 seconds.
I'm gonna turn the. Yeah, I can't handle it with that.
How,
All
where
the
do you
way.
want the drive at?
Yeah,
Mark?
right about there to start
Noon?
with. I wanted to get it with a pick sound real quick.
Oh.
Oh, I lost the signal again. I
Uh-oh.
did it. I
Hold
did
on,
it
let me
again.
mute you, let me
oh
mute
man,
you.
what happened, Jody? What did I do? I got it back. There it is. She's back. Oh, thank goodness. There
Come
it
on,
is.
Mark.
Oh,
You're rocking too hard.
yeah, man. Can you turn it all the way up too? The
That's
drive?
right. I already have my hands on the.
Oh man,
Uh-oh.
it's good. Let's switch over to the Spector real quick too.
Oh yeah, let's do that real quick.
let's
All
do-
right, that's muted. I think we're good there. I'm gonna
Yep.
hook up both cabinets again.
Man, so good, so good. Gives me joy feelings.
Let me put my chair back.
I'll put this out of the way. You
All right,
sit
guys.
here.
Of course, you know we're gonna go into this Spector Should we just jump into the Spector? What do we?
Let's give it a minute. I mean, I think it's important to get the
Different tones, different.
Yeah, we got like a
different
vintage
things.
style, like P style bass. Which, by the way, the 112 really shines in that like that mid-range sort of sound, like the mid-range sound that you get out of a P bass. Which is why that 12 I just kind of like lit up because of that. Well, let's get like a more modern style bass with the preamp. I'm going to turn this down. I'm going to turn the master real quick. Let's get your input gain.
So, do we want to just hop active?
Yeah, let's do it active.
All right.
We're boosting your rose.
I don't have anything boosted right now.
Okay. All right, now let's turn up the master.
So Mark's setting up the input gain there, and we'll get into some of the specs on this bass momentarily because it is just gorgeous and plays great, and I love it. So right now, Mark's got my bass boosted, or my favorite bass riff.
Turning down the low mids and high mids just to kind of give it a little bit more of a scoop sound. Maybe that would shine with a good like slap tone. You want to do a little bit of slapping? I'm going to turn the treble up a little. I'm actually going to add a little bit of brightness to it too. See what it does with that that non-tweeter sound. You hear that? Like all those like highs coming through.
And remember, that's just the EQ on the bass is flat right now. And then there's also a mid-frequency switch on here that's probably coloring it a little bit, so then it really brightens it up.
I'm gonna crispy. Got the crispiness. Slow down. Ooh. Yeah, I put the mids back in at flat.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I know I said earlier that I think like maybe gospel players wouldn't dig it as much and they might prefer an NXT, but like, dude,
Yeah.
it's cutting. I mean, we got that really rich body booty tone out of that grabber.
Yeah.
And now it's like a whole nother amp.
Woo! It's so responsive, man.
Let's try that low B.
I'm actually adding a little bit of drive.
Of course you are, Mark.
Well, I think now's a good time. Let's go ahead and transition. Let's talk about the Spector.
The Spector!